This is a continuation of part 1 and going right into part 2 on doing the tires. I'm going to pump it up to about 60 pounds. So that's 60 pounds of air. Now I'm going to let the air out of it and try this readjusting, because you can see here how it's nice and tight, and here there appears to be a gap between the lock ring and the bead. So I can let all the air out and try shifting a little bit and air it up again, see if I can get that all to close up nice and tight like it is on this side. And here, if you look close, you can see how this lock ring actually hooks underneath. It's kind of a hook on the rim to lock it in place, and the air pressure holds it all secure. But the air pressure is also what can kill you if it comes apart. So it's two sides of a coin. Over a little, now I'll air it up again and see if it's locked into place satisfactorily. Now, with just a little bit of air in it, I'm going to tap on the lock ring, and I think you'll see it shift into lock in place where it should. Yeah, you probably saw it move. So now that's shifted into place where it belongs. I'm going to pound on the bead ring again. Now hopefully when I air it up, this gap will close up. We have just about 60 pounds of air. I'm happy with how it's closed up. Probably, some of you guys probably think I'm being foolish the way I do it. I don't know. I'm sure if it popped off, it would scare the hell out of me, and I might get hurt some, but with chains on there, at least I shouldn't get killed. And I'll still let it sit for a while with the chains on and pound on it some more before I'll take the chains off and mount it on the truck. Now the other side made it look easy, because someone obviously had been working on that tire when the truck was last put away or whatever. And this side, the lug nuts came off just as easy, but so far the rim is stuck to the hub. So we get the bead on it. There, as Alan Rudolph used to say, don't ask it, we tell it. A lot of kingpin wear on this one, more than the other side, but I'm not going to worry about that now because I'm just going to be driving it for display and on and off the trailer. Now let's see if the bead ring will come loose. A lot of hammering and grunt work for him. There. So far, so good. This rim is different than the other one. If you notice, this one had 6 holes. This one only has 2, and the bead lock and ring are different. Instead of being hooked in here to make it want to pull in and stay in place, this one has a collar here that goes underneath the ring. And holy cow, I didn't even start the video right away because I thought I'd just be beating on it so much. So I thought this one would be a lot tougher than the other one being rusted on. And I flopped it over and the tire's falling right off. I don't know. I must be living right lately or something to have an old tire come off like that, because I've had them where I beat on them for hours already. Well, I thought I'd grease it. Well, the wheel is off. It's easy to get at everything. And all the grease fittings are taking grease so easily as if it had just been greased yesterday. But you know, it's probably been 70 years since this was greased. So you know it was cared for when it was being used. Everything on this side greased. Now I'm going to go back to working on the wheel that goes on this side. If you notice, this wheel is different than the wheel off the other side. This one has 6 holes in it. This one only has 2. But it's more than just that. This rim, front thing, the rim on the other side, this bead isn't rolled with part of the rim. It's a separate piece that goes up against the collar on the rim. So I'm guessing at that time they didn't have the capabilities of stamping the whole thing at one time. And the locking ring, the bead ring and the lock is a different style. On this rim, this lip here fits underneath the lip on the rim, and in this lock ring the lip goes underneath the bead ring. So when the bead ring comes out and is held in place by the tire, that in turn locks the lock ring from coming out from underneath the lip on the rim. So that's how this one locks the lock ring in place, where the other one, it doesn't have this lip on here to hold it in place. The hook, this here is kind of J hook shaped, and so is the lip on the rim, so they lock together there. And I've probably seen no less than a half a dozen different ways of these rims being put together and how they thought was the safest way to have everything lock in place. And I don't know if one's safer than the other, but no matter what, you take precautions, and you sure don't want to mismatch any parts, because then bad things would really happen. So the main thing is make sure all the rust is cleaned off, and take the precautions and make sure everything is seated as you're airing it up, with either doing it in a cage or safety chains in place. Well, I'm going to use the tube that came out of the tire I took off. It looks to be in really good shape. It had one small hole in it I patched. Now I'm going to work at getting the tube and the flap in my replacement tire. Even though this is an old tire, it's nowhere near as old as the one I took off. You see the size of the bead on this one. And this really old tire I took off, the bead is like twice as thick. These old tires are really stiff and really heavy, and the beads are just huge on them. So now I got the tube in, now I'm gonna put the flap in this tire. The flap I took out of the old tire is really nice condition too, so. Now this rim, another thing that's different about it is where the valve stem goes in. The other rim, this was a continued slot out to the end, so the valve stem would just drop right in. But this one has a guard welded over that slot, riveted over it. I suppose they thought that was protect the valve stem from rocks. Instead of it just sliding in from the end, I got to bend it and get it go down through this hole. So this one's going to be more difficult to put together than the other one.